Hello, 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 Facebook Live. I hope all is well with each and every last one of you. My name is Vanessa Canterbury, and I'm always asked so many questions about breaking barriers unapologetically. How did it come about? How did it get to the point of now you have a conference in 30 days? And so it will only be right to be able to answer those questions, right? And just to be able to give you some insights because oftentimes we just don't know. Hey, Deborah, how are you? I hope all is well. Sometimes we just want insights. We want to be able to get to know that person. Hello, Sophia. How are you, love? Just to get to know the person. But more importantly, we don't get really a good chance to be able to know the person behind the scenes. And so Dr. Aikyna Finch is going to come on in and she is going to be able to ask me the series of questions that's been going around, been circulating, been asked. So I could be able to give you answer you, give you some answers. And so she's about the Breaking Barriers Unapologetically conference is coming, which is crazy. It's coming. It'll be here what, less than 30 days, I think. And I'm still shocked about that. I'm still shocked. It seemed like the time flew by. It also seemed like it was taking forever. But really, I guess it was like perfect timing, shall we say? So, Dr. Finch, hello, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I'm very productive. Very, very
Okay.
productive. 30 days out. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But it's all good and exciting, shall I say? It's coming together, which is good.
All right. Well, what made you decide that you wanted to do the Breaking Barriers Unapologetically conference?
What made me want to do it? Well, it was always asked. It was constantly being asked for me to do the conference. And I was saying no. I just didn't want to do it. It's for many reasons. Um, One is because oftentimes people are not at that place where they are ready to surrender, right? Because you got to be
Hmm.
willing to surrender what's those things and be vulnerable about it, right? And sometimes people just
Hmm.
don't want to do that because, coming up, we always hear what goes on in our house stays in our house, right? And so now that you will be out and interacting with other people who are truly in the same predicament as you, but maybe just in a different stage of it, this will be able to give you great insight on how you can move forward in breaking those barriers and so that you know that you're not alone, right? And so I'm just truly, I'm shocked in a kind of way of me going forward because I'm an introvert. I don't like all that attention or nothing, but it was constantly being asked. So if they constantly asking for it, then let's take it to a whole nother level and make it to a place where we all could sit down and have dialogue. So when God gave me the permission to say yes, even when I still wanted to say no, I decided to go ahead and be obedient with it. So that's how I move forward with the conference. I hope that makes sense.
So, yes, it made sense. Thank you. And so, now that you are 30 days out from the conference,
Whew.
and of course, you're going to see a lot more traction and things of that nature. Um, What would you say would be the biggest takeaway you want the people to get from your event?
The biggest takeaway is that it's never too late. It's never too late to break those barriers. No matter where you come from, what you're dealing with at the moment, what people tell you that is not possible, or people around you have truly shown you that it's not possible, it's definitely possible. It's possible for you to be able to break those barriers that you know that you need to break in not only in your family, but also yourself, because you got to be willing to start with yourself first. And if you could be able to do that, then maybe they will follow. But if not, you have to be okay and unapologetically say, you know what, I'm ready. So yes, that's the biggest takeaway. Just knows that is never a time limit on you moving forward and breaking your own barriers.
And so, who should come to this conference? Who is going to benefit from this conference?
Mm. People who are stuck. They're stuck in a place where they know they're in transition, but they just have not made the transition, right? They still doing the same thing over and over again, and they have not seen any results. They feel like they want to quit. They feel like it's not meant for them. They feel that
Mm-hmm.
it's so impossible. Those people, especially our women, we are the core that keeps the family together. And with us always taking care of everybody else, we need to be able to take time out for ourselves to constantly keep growing, constantly keep showing and planting seeds for our families. Um,
Mm-hmm.
them the women that needs to be in the room. And I'm not excluding men, but men are so silent and they suffer just like we do, but they just don't speak up, right? They could be able to still benefit of being in the room because there's somebody that's relatable that understands their situation as well. But they have to be, again, they have to be willing to be vulnerable. They have to be willing to surrender. They got to be willing to be, have an open mind of just willing to receive what's going to take place at this conference.
Now, you have a male speaker.
Mm-hmm.
So I assume that you were going to have a male class.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the case?
I would love to be able to have a male class. However, again, men, they're silent. They're very silent. And we need more men to be able to know they should be in that room. But again, men are so silent. They have been taught to be able to just keep those things to themselves. They are taught not to move forward. That's what they are taught, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so we can't um, force them, but we would love for them to be in the room because not only that, we as women could be able to learn from the men. You know what I mean? We could
Mm-hmm.
be able to learn from them because we don't know it all. We just don't. There's the man side and then there's the woman side. But we got to be able to come together collectively to be able to make this thing work because we're talking about breaking barriers. There's relationship things that people are trying to break barriers, but they just don't know how again. We're talking about communication. They just don't know how. But again, we need to be able to come together in order for that to work.
Makes perfect sense. So, what are some of the categories and things you're going to be talking about at the conference?
Ooh, we're gonna be bold. We're gonna be very bold. We're gonna be very transparent. And one of the main thing is, in order for healing to begin, it starts with communication, right? We have to be able to take down these walls. We're gonna break down the walls that you have built up for yourself for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to break down those walls so you can be able to understand the importance of communication, not only the communication part of it, but how to the correct way to communicate and share your feelings so somebody else can be able to understand. So hypothetically speaking, someone in your family have left you in a broken state, right? And in order for you to be able to and you got to be honest, you may not never get an apology from them. That's a possibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in order for you to get the forgiveness on your side, to forgive yourself, it's not about them, it's about you.
Mm-hmm.
In order for you to give that forgiveness for yourself, you want to be able to have a conversation, right? You need to get this thing off of you, get that bad negative energy off of you, right? Whatever that feeling was, you got to get it off of you. And you have to be able to have a conversation with the people that left you in that space, right? And if you could be able to have that conversation, you are on the road to having some healing, some recovery, so you could be able to do the forgiveness part now, right? And then once we get to the forgiveness part, forgiveness is the hardest thing ever because now you're reflecting on those things that happened to you and you just like, dang, and you telling me I still got to forgive that person after they did X, Y, and Z? Yes. And so to be able to show you how to forgive in a way that it don't take away from you. It's not belittling you. It's not making you feel like you small. That part is what we really need, right? So we have to be able
Mm-hmm.
to take these steps in order to get things done. Same thing, like a lot of times people want to be able to start them a business, but then you transfer that same behavior over to from your life and that you have yet to be able to deal with. And now you have transferred that information over to your business, right? So if you took this stuff to your business, what makes you think you're going to be able to grow a business if you still transferred that negative energy? You have to be able to deal with those things head on. And it's every day is going to be a work in progress, but at least you're willing to do the work, right? And so we can be able to build from there. It got to start somewhere, but you got to be willing to be in the room for it to start.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
That makes perfect sense. You know, woo, you get a chill off of that good stuff, right? You know, you gotta be in the room for the healing to start, which means that you're taking ownership of the healing that's getting ready to take place. Sight unseen. So that means you have to take a leap. It means that you have to put yourself in a space and in a place so that you can receive the blessings from which you are supposed to receive, that you may have been hindering because you may not have been in the place that you needed to be. You know, because see, sometimes we tend to go for our own devices instead of going for the way that we are supposed to be led. We feel the leading. We know that it's happening, but however, because it is unknown, we choose not to go.
Right.
But when you step foot into the Breaking Barriers Unapologetically conference, that means that you have opened yourself up to receiving what is here for you. You have opened yourself up to what is supposed to be on your plate, on your back, on your shoulders, in the atmosphere that has your name written all over it. But yet some people will still sleep because they are not ready to claim it for themselves. They think that somebody got to claim it for them and then hand it to them in a nice pretty box or a nice pretty bag or a nice pretty book or whatever.
Very true.
Sometimes we need to take the raw clay and mold it into what it's supposed to be. And Breaking Barriers Unapologetically is when you're saying, I am the clay, you are the potter, and I am ready for you to shape me into what I'm supposed to be and not what I keep telling myself I'm supposed to be. There is a difference. But woo, no.
Yes,
okay, let me ask you your question. Let me ask you. Let me ask your question. Let me ask this question, because I mean, apparently you are sending vibes into the atmosphere. You're sending vibes into the atmosphere, and you want the people to see what they are worth. And worth is a big part of Breaking Barriers Unapologetically.
Yeah.
Because if you don't think you have any worth, you're not thinking about breaking any barriers.
That's true.
You're thinking that all this stuff that's happening is acceptable when you don't have any worth. But part of coming to this conference is you claiming your worth. Am I correct?
That's true. Very true. Sometimes people have lost the worth. They don't even know the definition of it anymore. They just lost because they have been in a place seeking to be found, but they have not found themselves, right? And if you have not found yourself, how can you be able to expect somebody else to seek you out? You know, we got to be able to understand that at the end of the day, even though we, especially women, we taking care, we're the caretaker, right? But we have not taken care of ourselves. So if we don't take care of ourselves, then what happens? We get lost in the shuffle, right? And so we can't continue to do that. I mean, I remember many a times when I had to raise my brother and sister before I became a mother. It was like, I don't even know what it was to be a teenager, right? And so just not knowing what's that, a teenager? What do you mean? Going out to the skate ring, going to the mall? I don't know what the heck that is all about, because I was in a place where I had to take care of my brother and sister. right? And so now you have this habit of just constantly taking care of. So when I have my children, I'm taking care of them. And so next, it's like, okay, along the way, you get lost in there, dealing with all the things that you dealing with, the pain, the pushback, you feeling that you don't matter. You constantly allowing people to put you on the back burner, knowing darn well you belong on the front. You know what I'm saying? But you
Come on.
constantly keep, putting yourself in that position to not say anything. You constantly being mute when you should make noise. And so now when I speak up, people are like, dang, Vanessa, did you really say that? Yes, because I've been muted many a years. I refuse to be muted when I have feelings. You need to know my feelings now, not later, right? And so in order for you to know that, I'd rather for you to hear from me versus you hearing it from somebody else. Is this the way I feel? You have to be, is formed back to what? Communication. You have to have that communication in order for that to take place. And so communication starts in the room. Get in the room for it to be able to happen. There's times where I have to have a conversation that I thought it would never go anywhere, but it was needed for it to go somewhere. And so in order for that conversation to take place, I have to be open enough to be able to say what happened, the situation, and how can I be able to make it better, right? And sometimes that person may not make it better. You got to be willing to make it better for you, period, right? And so accept those things. Just accept it, that they may not get it. They may not never get it. And I had to learn how to accept that, right? Was it
Mm-hmm.
painful? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is. So
Mm-hmm.
we have to have those conversations in order for anything to take place, in order to get this process going.
Makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. So tell us about your speakers and then tell us how we can get into the room.
So the speakers, one of them is Ira Warren. She's out of Philadelphia, and she has a phenomenal story. I did her interview last week, and it was absolutely amazing that she allowed herself not to stay in a place where she was stuck, right? And so one of the things that Ira said, and I love that how open she is. She said, "I said, who would benefit from to being in a room?" She said, "Well, to be honest, I'll be able to benefit because I'm still in the process of growing." And see, that's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be transparent. So if your speaker be transparent, it's relatable to the audience. We all in this together, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have Sherman, who is going to be there. That's our male speaker. And he has amazing testimony that probably will shock the heck out of you. But once he shares it, it's like, wait a minute, you what? Again, transparent of our stories, which is really, really needed if you want somebody to be able to relate to what you have going on, right? And then we have the keynote speaker, who is Darlene Brown, who me and her just connected in a way that was like, dang, that confirmation that I needed, the things that I was dealing with. And so for her to be able to recognize it, because we can recognize those things, but then when you have somebody to confirm those things on top, you like, wait a minute, hold on. So she's going to be the keynote speaker. And then we have the amazing MC speaker, Dr. Aikyna Finch, who I just adore, because not only do we have so many things that we work on together, but she's a type of person, and it's crazy. We have like this dynamic duo thing going on. She could pick up what I'm thinking and she'll drop it, and vice versa. And then sometimes it's like in a place where I'm thinking I'm gonna call you out, but she'll beat me to it. And it's just like she's so transparent and just wants the best for people. That's the thing. We want the best for people, right? And so if you want the best for the people, then you need to have those type of people there. You don't want nobody who say, well, they got their own agenda. Because a lot of times that happen often, where people have their own agenda just to be in the room, and it doesn't even really fit with the vision. Every last one of these speakers, they fit with the vision, and so that was very important to make sure that Everyone has a story. Everyone is transparent. Everyone is bold and unapologetic, and they broke barriers and continue to break barriers. And they want to be able to help other people unapologetically to be able to help break their own barriers with our stories. Because our stories is not about us. It's for somebody else to set free. And so we're going to be freeing some people in that room, with our stories, with our testimonies, with collectively, and just seeing how much and how powerful that the experience will be, because the experience is going to be absolutely powerful, very powerful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So how do they get into the room?
So they will be able to get into the room by getting your ticket. It's going to be in Bowie, Maryland, August 2nd and 3rd. And that's a Friday and a Saturday. And you could be able to go to Breaking Barriers Unapologetically, get in the room. I also will post the link here for you. It'll take you straight there so you get all the information and get the tickets so you could be in that room, so you could be able to get the experience of what we're talking about. And it's not just for women, it's for men too. But men, we need you guys to speak up so we can be able to have this form of communication here. So yeah, that's where you're going to be able to get the tickets at. And then and for those who are in Bowie, Maryland, and the surrounding areas, there also will be, if you are very serious about being in a room, you make sure you reach out to all the speakers, and I will tag all the speakers, and they will have something special for you if you are really serious about being in that room.
All right. All right. Well, Vanessa, this has been truly powerful. Thank you so much for doing this conference. Thank you for heeding the call. Thank you for going above and beyond what your flesh may have wanted to do, as we say, and living in your spirit.
Yeah.
So I want to give you this opportunity here to tell the people what they really need to know today.
What you really need to know today is that you are worthy so much. Not just where you at right now. You are so worthy of going to another level of elevation. And you may not even know how to get there, but trust and believe. With trust in the process and doing the work, you can get there. And then also, you don't have to feel like as if you are alone. We are in this journey together, and it's a collective effort of us all holding someone else accountable to make sure that you could be able to get through it. Because a lot of us, we are here, but we just don't know how to get through it. We're not going to show you how to get over it. We're going to show you how to get through it, because once you get through it, that's where your testimony will come into place. And so that's one thing that's so important. Don't give up on yourself. I know you are going through something. Somebody is going through something. We all going through something. Yours may be harder than mine right now, but however, we all could be able to just do something. Just do something, and to be able to build you up. Because I wish I had this when I first started out. I didn't. I was overlooked. I was told that I didn't fit. I was told so many negative things. We need to get rid of the negative energy so we can replace it with positive energy, positive people, positive atmosphere. And that's what we're going to do. It's all about positivity. So we can be able to break those things that's away from you, that don't need to be attached to you, that's long overdue, that should not be attached to you. And we got to stop bringing those people that and dragging them along with us just to get it done. Because sometimes we just can't take those people with us. It's not their time. This is a blessing for you to get you together so you can be able to start something new for you, and the people that's supposed to be attached to you, they can be able to benefit off of your growth. That's the thing. We got to do something different for our next generation, and it starts with you.
Whew, y'all heard it here first. Y'all get ready to get in the room. 30 days left. And then here we go.
You're right.
So, so thank you everyone for listening today, and we look forward to seeing you in the room. Vanessa, give them that link one more time for us.
You could go to Breaking Barriers Unapologetic, and you could be able to get the link um, to the tickets. And I will also post it here in the room, so you can just click on it, and you could be able to it'll take you right there. And make sure you follow us all over social media, Breaking Barriers Unapologetic, so you can get all the information, stay up to date on what's about to take place, because it is going to be something else. It's going to be absolutely amazing.
Well, thank you so much. Until next time. Bye.